Shalom, shalom, shalom. Excuse me. Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is Naaman with the Great Millstone Camp here in DC. Back for another video, but first and foremost, call all Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakal HaKodash, and of course, once again, double honors go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations also go out to the fellow Akim that out there on the highways and byways, pushing the truth across four corners of the earth, aided, of course, by the numerous amounts of videos that go out and are for everyone's edification, if you so choose. All right. This is also done in order to wake up mainly the remaining, hopefully elect, all right, of our people, because time is very short. Hopefully, if you're paying attention, you're witnessing the prophecies come past. The main one yet to, of course, take place is the MOTB. But you're seeing the uproars of the people. You're seeing Revelation 17, 15, and 16 happening right before your eyes. All right, the beginnings thereof, and this place is definitely the most hated. And it's always been my opinion that the small hats, of course, we know ultimately it's the Most High is behind this, but these proud devils, these small hats, all right, they are isolating the United States. All right. You got to remember, they hate America and Americans, specifically they hate Jake, of course, taking our identity. But, I mean, the amount of manipulation, all right, that's going on here with, because I have in my phone somewhere, there was a screenshot that I have of a conversation that Netanyahu had back in 1990, I believe it was, or was it 92, over in Jerusalem, where he said their express purpose was to destroy America. All right. And there was a video circulating in the last few days or so, where this gentleman, whoever he was, went up on Capitol Hill here in DC, and he was asking just a simple question to these, staffers and politicians. He said, America first or Israel first? And these cowardly motherfuckers didn't even want to answer the question. This is a result of what Kennedy was trying to nip in the bud in '63. All right. During the late spring and early summer of '63. When he was going back and forth with David Ben-Gurion, who then was the prime minister. And a lot of people have speculated it was as a result of this that got him killed, because he wanted the Israeli lobby, as we know as AIPAC and the main one, and there's a few other minor ones, to register as foreign agents. And they refused to do so. So, in any case, let's get this copyright disclaimer out. This is under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that may otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Now, I said that because of the video I'm getting ready to go and play here. Mainly, if these people are not going to fight to save this piece of shit place that they stole and raped and robbed and committed all kinds of atrocities against us, if they're not going to fight to save it, why should Jake? Our people have been so browbeaten. And there's a little thing I like to point out. I like to say, someone, a brother brought it up at camp. I like to use this instead of the recent, to my last 2 or 3 years, Stockholm Syndrome. I like to use this one because it goes to generational, and this is how Jake has been over the generations. Just you don't prioritize shit that involves you and your people. You've been brainwashed, and this is a direct result of slavery, and this is generational. All right, it says colonial mindset refers to the internalized belief in the superiority of the colonizer's culture, all right, and values, often leading to feelings of inferiority, that's Jake, among the colonized people. This mindset can result in a disconnection from one's own cultural identity and heritage, as individuals may strive to adopt the values and behaviors of the colonizers instead. Now, you tell me that's not Jake. All right, so let's go, who is Jake protesting for? After the majority of these immigrants, they come over here and they have, and now we're in the first part of this, we're talking about Northern Kingdom here. All right. Despite what they went through with these Edomites, these conquistadors and their descendants, and yet you got to understand with them that much the same thing happened with stressing cutting off their lineages and adopting, the European values. That's why I read that colonial mindset, because it applies to Northern Kingdom too. So they come over here, and that whole thing. Someone mentioned something a couple of days ago. It stuck with me, and they said, "Why do you suppose in these embassies where these people come from, who do you think are the ones that they come in contact with as making the reps, or and they're all Edomites? Why do you suppose that is?" And then they get told, "Oh, you need to stay away from those blacks. They're dangerous. They're criminals. And they come over here with this. Aside from what they learned in their own land about us, because that's always pushed out too. And that's that slander. That's that Psalms 50. I'll get that verse. Let's get that. Let's go ahead and roll this, and I'll be getting that while we do that. Here we go.
The elected officials refuse to address the problem. The black elected officials refuse to address the problem. My own congressman refuses to address the problem.
What is that problem?
And I think the problem is black folks see all minorities as allies.
Exactly.
And this is not the case. These people are not here for our common good. They're here for their own good. Where I don't have any ill will towards anybody, I also want to look out for my race. I'm a black American. I've never used a hyphen. But I will refuse to turn my back on my race and see what's going on in South Central to my people and let these people come in here and just take over. I'm not going to sit back and watch it. And I think it's a terrible thing, a horrendous thing for anybody to see this going on and say, well, he's a minority like me, so I won't speak up. I don't care where he comes from. The key to this whole thing is stop the denial, stop the alliances of, in other words, he's a minority like me, so I can't speak up against him. If this was white folks committing these lynchings to us in South Central, what's going on, there would be an outrage in this country. We have had firebombs thrown through windows. We have had people's cars burned in the driveway because they happened to move into the wrong communities. We had a lady who moved to East LA, came to the state from the South, not knowing what East LA was. It was an all Hispanic community. She wasn't there one day. We had another man who was burned out of his house in Torrance last year. We had 5 murders in Hawaiian Gardens just because the people were black. This would not be tolerated if this was white on black crime. But the fact that these people come here, and it's the numbers, sir, it's the numbers. They come here in the numbers, they build up.
Now understand, this took place in the very early 1990s. So it's well over 30 years ago.
the Hispanic community, and they get this sense of power against us. And there are race riots in the schools every day in Los Angeles. It never makes the media. The black kids are being run out of the schools every day and told to go back to Africa. It never makes the media. We are having people who are being discriminated against on every avenue of society, economic, schools, even in our prisons now. They have drawn lines, and our prisoners in California are being beat and harassed and raped by Hispanic gang members who recently arrived here because of the numbers. My answer to you, sir, would be...
Remember the movie. It's a classic. Blood in, blood out.
We don't need any new laws. Enforce the ones we got.
Hello, Freedman family and our riders. That was the beautiful ancestor, Mr. Terry Anderson. Now, Mr. Anderson spoke out in the 90s about what he saw with illegals in California. Now, my story is not about California, but Minneapolis. But I smile, y'all, every time I see this now because many people didn't listen to him or didn't see it then. But there's so many of us getting it now. Many of us are no longer seeing the others as just minorities or thinking they're automatic allies. I don't even use the term minority. Speaking of immigration, Trump has been stopping visas, ending temporary protected statuses, cutting off funds to the immigrants, and sending ICE to raid communities. Now, while ICE is in many different cities, recent headlines have been on the Somalis in Minnesota. That is because it has been alleged that this group of people has scammed billions of taxpayer funds through education, healthcare, and God knows what else. You see why they were so busy watching
And what she's about to go, let me let her finish. I don't want to jump the gun.
Freedmen and offering us only symbolism the whole time the Somalis been robbing us blind with no gun. With places like the Leering Center, and they're open from 2 to 10 with no kids. In Minneapolis.
But see, here's the thing. All right. That's just a distraction. You got to remember, this takes the focus off what should be focused on. Now, that's a small, very small drop in the bucket as to what this country has been giving these Israelis. And she's making another point about, all right, these people have gone to such great lengths, all right, to stop us from acquiring anything of meaning as far as tangibles. You notice everybody gets tangibles in whatever form. But Jake, they get a holiday. A bullshit one at that. That, nobody wants to celebrate anyway. Jake gets, an apology, shit like that.
Minnesota, a recent raid became national news after 37-year-old mother Renee Good was fatally shot by an ICE agent. Now, supporters of Good have emphasized that she was a mother and community member whose death has sparked grief and should be questioned because of the use of force in the incident. Officials from ICE have defended the officer's actions, describing the shooting as a response to a perceived threat after they said she tried to run them over with her vehicle. Them folks are doing everything they can to justify what was done to this woman, including putting her business out there in the streets to destroy her character. Now, they done brought up her alleged charge of child abuse.
See, they practice on Jake so much. This is a common thing. We know. But, again, they're up in arms about this, but not about what's been going on with Jake for decades. This is a common thing they do. They bring out their history, if they had a criminal history or whatever have you. Well, he didn't know that at the time that the offense was committed. Or the murder. But see, they do that, and these gullible, racist pieces of shit, they feed into it. Oh, they love that. Well, see, it said there back 40 years ago, this is what he did. And, I'm, exaggerating, but then again, I'm not. Because what did that matter? Did he know this information when he killed this guy? No. And he just had another one that got off. Or what happened with the 10-year-old down in Mississippi back in the spring. He just got off. Coming to court to get sentenced. This guy spit at the family of the child that he murdered. Yeah, that'll be my next video. But yeah, it's like, Jake, what are you getting involved in this shit for? Now they got these agents, aka Black Panthers, talking shit, trying to get Jake riled up. Again, going back to what I said earlier, you're so concerned with everybody else's business. Why didn't you show up for all these other Jakes that got murdered? I can only recall one that they showed up for. And that was because of this other agent that they locked up. What was it? The NFA, anyway, some kind of shit. And he started incorporating Hebrew Israelite, and everybody could tell it was some shit, a setup, an attempted setup. All right, but that shit was squashed. But this is Jake, just
as well as domestic violence against her spouse. And it's her own people doing it to her, not us. We just watching. Simply put, she getting that black treatment. That's what that is. Now, before we go any further, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the Emancipation.
Again, something Professor Cornell West used to talk about. He says, when you're talking about white folks being treated as Jake, he said, you've been niggerized. All right, and it's true. They don't like it.
Media channel, as well as my channel, More Threads. Let's get into it.
Hey, to my foundational black people,
mind your business.
Stay out of it. Mind your business. Don't you go out there helping nobody. Don't join nobody, because this is not your fight. These people are thieves, disrespectful. They hate black American people, and so do the Democrats. They hate black American people.
Yeah, buddy.
Because if we have our own businesses and our own schools,
that's what I was talking about earlier.
They burned them all up, blew them up. If they looking for one guy that's trying to unite black people together, what do? They'll blow a whole city up just to get him. This is not your fight. These people are the same color as you, and they're allowed to beat up police officers, National Guards, and ICE agents, and they're allowed to rob trillions of fucking dollars with no penalty. And now that it's time for them to get the hell up out of here, you mean to tell me you want to help that? Mind your business. This is not your fight. The reason why you don't see dogs and water holes and unaliving and shit coming out the sky, because the same ones that did that to us is the same ones protecting the illegals right now. Because if they wasn't protecting them, then why there's no dogs or water holes yet? Mind your business. You don't join nobody that blew up all your ancestors' shit and allow illegals to come here to have their own shit, plus rob us, plus disrespect the country. We ain't never treated our country that way. And we all got killed.
The more you stay home, the less you want to leave.
Damn commercial.
And the more you stay, the heavier everything feels. You think you're resting.
Let's get these scriptures, because this is Psalms chapter 50, verse 19. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Who do you think has been in behind all this misinformation? The outright lies, all right, that were told about us. Well, these people, when they were in their own country before they even started coming over here. Because what you got to understand, a lot of these people, they were considered pieces of shit by their own fellow countrymen. See, they get screened for the most part before coming over here. And it's something Richard Pryor said years ago on one of his stand-ups. I believe it was his 1976 album. Let's see if I can... Fuck YouTube, I won't play it. Let's see. I believe that album was Bicentennial Nigger. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. Oh. Whoops. Now, at the time, you can understand Vietnam was going on. So, well, it just ended, rather, a year prior. So, he's using the Vietnamese here as an example. Let's see if it's going to come up. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Mudbone, no. No. Come on now. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Richard Pryor. Here it is. All right. All right. Once again. Once again. All right. Fair use.
White folks tired of our ass too. They're getting them some new niggas. The Vietnamese. But bring them over, bring all of them over. Niggers won't mind. They didn't ask us shit. We the motherfuckers got to give the jobs up for them. Motherfuckers, I know why they like them motherfuckers too. Because they got the kind of music they can dance.
Salakia. All right, I don't want this thing to freeze up on me again. So you can see that right there. I'll put this in the description box, this link, and you can listen to it to yourself. This might be my little warning here. I'm gonna take it as such. For some reason, it's not letting me pause it, so I may have to just hurry this up. Let's see. Yeah, it's, god dang it, I hate when it does this. I might have to make a part 2. Hold on. Salakia. Hey, shalom. I'm gonna make a part 2.